ATAL FDP. So, firstly, I would like to introduce one of the very eminent personality with us today, Dr. Namita Mittal, ma'am. Dr. Namita Mittal is working as an associate professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering. She is a recipient of Career Award for Young Teachers by AICTE. Her current research areas are data science, information retrieval, data mining, and NLP. Madam has published several research papers in reputed international conferences and journals and 2 books in Springer publication. She is also a member of review committees for referred journals conferences. Madam is a senior member of IEEE, member of ACM, CCI, and SCRS. She has conducted various FDPs, conferences, workshops like PhD, Colloquium, FIRE 2017, Gyan course on advances on data and web analytics 2017, International Workshop on Text Analytics and Retrieval 2018, WIRE FIRE Track 2020. She is a coordinator, Regional Coordinating Institution, RCI, for Central Rajasthan at Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, which is by the government of India. So I warmly welcome ma'am and kindly request you to deliver your talk on data visualization using Python. Over to you, ma'am.
Good morning. Thanks, Priyanka. Thanks for inviting me. I hope this session is going to be very useful and very interactive for all of us. Everyone will have something to take away. So this is about the data science. One of important part of data science is the visualization, data visualization. So we'll start from why do we need it and how do we use it, and later Python programming with Matplotlib for the visualization. So I'm sharing my slides. We'll have 2 hours lectures. So in the first half, we'll see the concepts, what should be done if we do visualization, and in the later part, we'll do hands-on. So I hope I'm visible and audible to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
You can write in chat, right? So I'm toggling my screens from Jupyter Notebook and sometimes in presentation mode. So please let me know in case of any inconvenience. The basic purpose is how to write the visuals, how to write the program in Python, so that we can have something like graphs, that is visuals, and later we'll switch to something on dashboard as well. What we mean by dashboard, how do we make our visuals interactive and many visuals in one screen, that is dashboard, and that too in real time. I think Rajshri and Priyanka, someone will be there to help me in getting chats if I forget to read. Thank you. So I'm starting.
Yes, ma'am. We'll do.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Wait a minute. Give me a second, please. Move my window. Yes. So we'll start from data science. So the focus on data science comes when we have the data everywhere. So it's the era of data, everyone knows it, and that there are lots of advantage of having the data, and at the same time we have lots of data, so it becomes the problem for us. So how do we handle it such a way meticulously that we can use it properly, and how we get the insights? So data visualization is a very important part of understanding the hidden pattern. So far, you must have seen that data mining is a way or to get the hidden patterns. This is right. But the hidden pattern, if we can visualize it, that makes sense. So as everyone's saying, 100 words means one picture can say 100 words at a time, right? So one story can be depicted in one visual. How do we do it? So if I ask a question, a beautiful descriptive bar chart is good for you, or a boring spreadsheet telling the same information? Definitely the answer is, slides are moving. Yeah, answer is visuals. If we have a complicated Excel sheet or some other way, and we need to visualize in a one story, like you can see in the right upper corner, we have some visuals, right? So if I can depict a story in one visual, that's obviously, the answer is yes. So it's for example, it's a bar chart. As humans are visual creatures, and data visualization charts are like bar charts, scatter plots, line charts. In case you don't understand the meaning of any one of them, I can explain it. So heat maps, geographical maps, scatter plots, and bar charts are horizontal, vertical, lots of visuals are available. So far, we have been using mostly pie charts as well. So there are lots of drawbacks of using pie charts, and at what time we should use which visual. That is an important thing, and that is explained in data visualization. So I'll take part of that. Visuals tell the information, that's true. So data visualization tools are so popular that allows analysts and statisticians to create visual data models easily and get the insights from that by conveniently providing an interface. The important thing is, do we have an interface? We don't have to write or understand the syntax or logical things. Just like a black box, if we write something, I write a question in NLP, and if I get my answer in NLP, my natural language, then that is a magic. We don't have abstract kind of thing. If I write that, give me the details of student versus marks, who is getting what marks, I want to visualize it. So I don't need to understand the critical things like how do I write, from where I know that the data is available with me in a spreadsheet or in a table, but just I'll write the program and I'll have one interface. In interface, I'll select marks and student, and the visual will be displayed. Even the which visual is good for this type of question, that is decided by the interface itself. I don't have to mention that I need bar chart, I need pie chart, nothing. So that's the magic of data visualization. So we can have databases connections, we can have machine learning tool, we can have lots of things that becomes one place, that is a dashboard we can see. So everyone must have seen nowadays on airports, you can see which flight is coming at what time, is delayed, what is the gate number, everything you can visualize it. How does it happen? It happens through data visualization tools. That is a dashboard basically. And it keeps on changing. Nobody's doing it manually. According to the spreadsheet or a data they are keeping, they just mention in their data, and that is visualized in a dashboard. So this is the real life example, and everywhere in the life you must have seen the data science application. So if I summarize it, it is the graphical representation of the data in order to interactively and efficiently, make it underline, interactively, it should be convenient for the user, and efficiently convey insights to the clients. I'm taking from the business point of view. We can be the customers, like in a bank, if we go and everything is visualized, or if we go to the jewelry showroom, what is the rate of gold, what is the transaction, what are the other things, details, those are being displayed from the internet, means from the big market, instead of they are displaying at a local level, if it comes from the World Wide Web or something that is genuine, so people can believe on it. So I'm taking some scenarios, so someone can answer if they wish to do it. So if this is the visual, if I give it to you, what you do understand it by? The showing that you can see two type of bars, blue and red. And January to December, there's a data. And you can see two legends. Ticket volume received, blue, and red is ticket volume processed. So I think you understand it's making some sense, but not very clear. It's like clumsy kind of things. So many data. How do I grasp it? How do I perceive it? That's the question, right? So if you have got some, it's a 2D graph. On x-axis, we have January to December months, and on y-axis is 0 to 300. What is that? It's not very clear, right? So if I put something with this, with the storytelling, the same thing can be conveyed in a different way. That makes sense. So look at my second slide. Of course, it's in fact ineffective, not very clear. Now, the same picture I'm writing, this is my title. Please approve the hire of two FTEs, is a technical executives, financial technical executives, to backfill those who quit in the past year. The same data, same bars are now in a shorter way. The data is same. The numbers of ticket on y-axis from 0 to 300 is conveying the story. Earlier it was nothing on y-axis, only the values. Now we are writing, these are the numbers of tickets. And at x-axis, we have January to December in short, right? And we have two lines. Two lines are enough for that value. And we are saying two employees quit in May. That is the insight from my last slide. That is the insight from my last slide. Got it? So it's saying we nearly kept up with incoming volume in the following 2 months, but fell behind with the increase in August. So we can match with the thing. Look at the August month. We have ticket processed are 156, ticket receives are 202. Similarly, 126, 160, 104, 139. So here is the difference. Earlier there was no difference or a negligible difference. From the May only, it starts having the difference. That makes a clear picture. So this is visual plus storytelling. We have explicitly mentioned what is the story, why do we write this graph, and what are the insight with the very blend colors. Earlier in this graph, you see there are bright colors. Bright colors are good enough, but they should not that bright that gives us the cognitive load on the brain. Too much bright colors are not advisable on visuals. So this is the first scenario. Second scenario, this is effective storytelling with the data, right? Now, second scenario. So look at this data. It has some story. So in the first pie chart, you see, how do we feel about doing science? This is the question. And it has some slices, bored, not great, okay, kind of interested, excited, and some kind of percentage. So if you match it, it's equal to 100. This is the basic logic behind pie chart. The total must be 100. And the second pie chart gives how do you feel about doing science? Bored, not great. So can you compare it? What is the difference between earlier bored and now bored? It's post bored or not great? It's difficult, na? Only on the basis of colors, at that instance you can see it. But now it comes to the comparison from 19 to 38%, 11 to 12%. I have to have my mind into it. But it doesn't happen every time. So instead of this, you can make some points from here. I'm going to the next slide. And
excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, like here the pre and post is telling what actually?
Just the data. Just the data. There's nothing. So it's saying we had a survey. We did some camp. We did some camp. Before camp, the person not having interest in science. They were getting bored. 19% of students were bored. And after having the camp, this increased 19 to 38, 11 to 12, 5 to 6, 40. Now look at the green one. Okay, was earlier it was 40%, now it's 14%.
Yes,
so it's saying that there are two types of data, before and after. The question is it okay for us? We are happy with this. So far, before data visualization, before storytelling, this was the story we used to do in a student life as well. 10, 12 तक हम यही करते थे ना. Now
Yes,
the
ma'am.
second perception, look at the next slide. If I make this slide like this. So first of all, I need to write what about I'm talking. It was a pilot program. It was a workshop. That was a success. Success क्यों? Because board cases were 11 to 12. No doubt, there's a minor difference. Not grade is 5 to 6. But look at the OK part. OK part is reduced 40 to 14. Kind of interested is a difference. 25 to 30. 19 to 38. Right? That's why I'm saying this is a successful program. Now there's a clarity. There were how many slices were there? 5. Got it? But there's a clarity. 11 to 12 is very visible. 5 to 6, 40 to 40. The data may be lower or greater. It doesn't matter. But the thing is, what I want to convey, the thing is, we have visualized the last slide data in terms of picture, in terms of story. So this is a storytelling with the data. So here everything is clear. You can see the colors are brighter where things are improved. Look at kind of interested and excited. There's a difference, and colors are made bit bright. And after program, more children were kind of interested and excited about the science. And look at the title. Title is Pilot Program was a Success. So under this title, you have something to tell us. So not only the data, we have some kind of labels, some kind of editing we have done. So you can see the caption of the graph based on survey of 100 students conducted before and after pilot program. So this is what I want to convey you. This is good enough. This is what we are doing so far. हम अभी तक यही करते आ रहे हैं ना. अगर मुझे कहा गया कि ये डेटा है आपके पास, you have to make a visual. So what I'll do this one. And people are very happy with that. Yeah, it's visible. So there are 5 slices and a total must be 100. That's true. And it's being maintained. So it's not bad, but it's not that effective that here it is conveying. So everything is very clear. Why did we do this workshop or a pilot program? And earlier, what was the data? Now, what are the data? And what is the insight actually? What is the insight? So insight is saying kind of interested people. Earlier, those were 25% only. Now 30%. And excited people are 19 to 38%. And that is a big deal for us. Got it? Priyanka, I'm making some sense? Okay, so come to the next scenario. So look at this visual. So this visual is about the missing context. So look at the first picture. Out of the big data, we have 74% cases of diabetes, 2.7% cases of heart disease and other diseases as well. But it's not conveying a big story. Are you getting something out of it? Yes, it is data. We have made it in terms of visual. So 75%, 2.75, 2.7%, 2.2%, 0.8%, 11.8%. But it's not telling us the big story, big idea. Why do we do it? Why we are doing it? Now, the same context. Here, we have a comparative study, sorry. So every disease is not exactly the same depiction of the earlier slide, but you can see the title, COVID-19 comorbidities, from this to this, everything is very clear. And look at the data, look at the colors. They are not that bright, making a cognitive load on your mind. बहुत मतलब धीमा धीमा you are grasping it, getting it. ऐसा नहीं कि बहुत ज्यादा लोड पड़ रहा है, आपको बहुत ज्यादा ध्यान देना पड़ रहा है या बहुत आपको आंखों को चुभ रहा है, ऐसा नहीं है. सो अभी तक हमने ऐसा कभी सोचा नहीं ना कि हमारी आंखों पे लोड नहीं पड़ना चाहिए, बहुत सारा डेटा एक स्लाइड में नहीं होना चाहिए, कितना डेटा एक साथ हम ग्रेस्प करें. सो इट्स काइंड ऑफ मॉडरेट थिंग. Getting? So we have divided our things into total is 100. So पूरा जितना भी सपोज हमने पेशेंट्स लिए थे एंड उन सबको हमने परसेंटेज निकाल के and it reaches to this. Making some sense? If you have any question, you can write it. Can I proceed? So what is storytelling and how do we do it? So being able to tell stories with data is a skill that's becoming ever more important in a world of increasing data, desire for data-driven decision making. So how do we do it? From the insights only. How do we decide the things? On the basis of insights. So if in one visual, if we can take the decision, that's the success of data visualization. So data visualization is not only telling about the data, it gives the insights in terms of story. And stories is made using the data. And one visual is graph. One visual with the storytelling is more than 100 sentences of a story. बहुत सारा डेटा को इकट्ठा करके मैंने एक पिक्चर बनाया और आगे पीछे सब कुछ लिख दिया. What is this? What is this? What is the title? How do we do it? What are the things? X-axis, Y-axis, colors. Even the colors are making it's a big role. Which colors should be chosen at what time? Getting? So data visualization is using pictures to represent data that is clear with examples. Turn information into pictures for a specific purpose. Specific purpose is a part of storytelling. Storytelling मतलब जो हमने लिखा, ऊपर कैप्शन, नीचे कैप्शन लिखा, ऊपर टाइटल लिखा, इधर लीजेंड्स लिखे हमने, एक्स एक्सिस पे क्या है और क्या कितने इंटरवल पे है. That is very important. So data visualization is the use of visual representation to explore, make sense of everything you do, but it doesn't make any sense. So it's not a visualization. And ultimately, this is to be communicated to the stakeholders. So if we start from messenger to receiver, what happens exactly? The idea of messenger is converted into inspiration, discoveries into insights, complexities into understanding, results into persuasion. Ultimately, what we perceive, how do we perceive it? This is behind the data visualization. This is said by Stephen Few. So the question is, when should we use it? कब हम टेबल यूज करें, कब हम ग्राफ यूज करें? मेरे हिसाब से आपके दिमाग में सब में क्वेश्चन आ रहा होगा. Not every time graphs are good. Tables are also good. So table is best used when we have to look up on the specific values. बहुत बड़ी टेबल है, उसमें से आपने कहा कि मेरी क्लास में 100 बच्चे हैं. And who got the highest marks? Specific value, second highest. or maximum marks in this subject, or what is the average of this. Got it? But a graph is best when the message is contained in the shape of the values. Shape is nothing but what is the minimum, what is the maximum, what is the average. It gives a shape. I'll take the example of box plot where you'll understand it. Users need precise values. You want to reveal relationship among multiple values. So far we have seen the bar graph, we have seen the pie charts. Those are basically for the comparison purpose. Earlier what was there? Now what is there? If we need to compare, if we need to differentiate, then we go for graph. If we have multiple data sets with different units of measures, then better to go for tables. Show general trends, then graphs are good. If we have large data sets, it's difficult to guess from the table. अब बहुत छोटा data है and we have to focus on a specific one, then good to go for table. So graphs and table have several different purposes. Choose the appropriate data display to fit your purpose. मेरी क्लास चल रही है. Sorry. हाँ, अभी आप देखेंगे. Are you able to see this picture? Lower bottom? Sorry, right bottom. So here this is example of scatter plot we can say, or bubble chart, bubble plot. इसमें हम छोटे circles हैं, बड़े circles हैं. So it is visualized that there are some data, 3 data here, and they have say 100%, 200%, 300%, something like that. So we can see the medium shape. This is the shape actually. This is the example of shape. Earlier, I have mentioned the message is contained in the shape of the values. So in a different shapes or different sizes, we can write something and it is visually very clear that which has what, how much importance depending on the shape of the data. So here there's a large circle, medium circle and a small circle. It means according to their size, there's a value. So now the question is, why do we visualize? The answer is seeing the big picture. So looking at this picture, you can tell many sentences because having the human brain, we have many things in our mind. We can visualize. So there's a boy in a boat or a ship, or a tiger. Tiger is means bigger than a person, bigger than the boy, and there's a storm behind. So many things we can visualize and write it, right? So can we do the same kind of thing with the data? This is the logic behind data visualization. So if I have this picture, I can't do anything because there are lots of data and conveying many things. But exactly what we want the insights. We can have a line graph. You can see in the right bottom picture, there's line graph. Got it? So this picture is not conveying anything. It's just for conveying that complicated data is not useful. We have to tell the story of this Excel sheet or this table in terms of the picture where the boy is standing. अगर ये वाले जो table की कहानी हम इस तरह से लिख सकें, that is what we want to try. Got it? So how do we differentiate between visualization and visual data mining? They are related with your data visualization. So to form a mental vision, image or picture, जब भी हम कुछ देखते हैं तो हम ज़्यादा अच्छे से समझ पाते हैं. That's why we see the pictures, right? हम मूवी देखने कब जाते हैं, मूवी में हम कोई चीज़ देख के आते हैं तो it remains long lasting. कोई हमें बोलता है या कोई सिखाता है या हम पढ़ते हैं. So 3 ways to grasp the things. The best thing is a long lasting is a visual. Something not visible or present to the sight or an abstraction, then to make visible to the mind or imagination. हमारे दिमाग में क्या ज़्यादा देर तक रहता है? Visuals. Visualization is use of computer graphics to create visual images which aid in the understanding of a complex, often massive representation of the data. I hope it's clear. It's self-explanatory as well. Now, in terms of data mining, what does a data mine say? Data mining definition says, if we need to explore the data that is we need to get the naive patterns, hidden patterns, those are not obvious. ऐसे patterns जो obvious नहीं है, implicit है, implicit patterns है, explicit नहीं है, implicit pattern है, नया है, useful है, valid है, तो ही हम कहते हैं data mining है. The same thing can be applied with the visual data mining. It is a process of discovering implicit, that is not obvious, जो दिख रहा है आसानी से वो नहीं, जो hidden है, but valid है, hidden है, valid है, नया है, but useful knowledge है, from large data set using visualization techniques. So visualization techniques using the various visuals. We can have one visual, we can have many visual at a time. And with the storytelling, that is visual data mining. So look at the big picture. Is it conveying something? If I show you this picture, so you have to put your brain, आपको बहुत सारा दिमाग लगाना पड़ेगा. क्या कहना चाह रहा है ये, क्या कहना चाह रहा है? It's difficult. At a one instance, you'll say it's difficult for me to understand. Right? Now, look at this another picture. Better than before, but not that clear. So, अगर मैं इस पहली वाली पिक्चर को दूसरी वाली पिक्चर में इस तरह से लिखती हूँ, तो using the colors, using the shape, using the sizes, यहाँ पे बहुत सारे bars हैं, right? Bars में 3 तरह के colors हैं, 3 तरह के sizes हैं, और नीचे कुछ लिखा हुआ है, तो it means better than before. We can say something. Now, look at this third picture. It's very clear. So we have bar. So look at the width. Look at the width. One is a horizontal bar. Second is a vertical. When we choose, it depends on the logic. We have to choose vertical or a horizontal. Getting? And looking at the sizes only, we don't have to look up on the data. जो x-axis, y-axis पे लिखा है उस data को हमें देखने की जरूरत नहीं है. थोड़ा देखते ही समझ में आ रहा है कि what's being done. So we have got 5 states and they have the different bars, and depending on the size, we can say it's increased in Maharashtra. It's the highest in Maharashtra. Got it? These are the cases. These are the COVID cases. At a particular date, we have taken this data from this reference given below, 10th May 2021 का data.government.in से लिया है. So this is how people want to see it. Here, you don't have the cognitive load on your brain. Again, the data should be easily and rapidly comparing values, seeing patterns among values, that is insight, and comparing patterns. So we can have a graph of this, just like that. This is a graph. Sorry, this is a graph. So if you have to compare from international to domestic and the range is same, that is y-axis is same, then we can always compare. And immediately I can say something had happened on August say 2021. Something had happened in the case of international. But domestic is bit lower and up, but is going up this time in December 20. Right? This is a big picture. Without going in the details of our data, using the visual, I can say something, I can depict something. Domestic is going up. While in case of international, it is more or less like constant, but in August something had happened. So that's why there was a dip. So objectives of the visualization. This is objectives of the visualization. There are 4 objectives. The ability to take data, to be able to understand it, to process it, to extract value from it, to visualize it, to communicate it. This is the underlying thing. This is the important thing. To communicate it. जो भी आपने काम किया है और जिसके लिए किया है उसको पहुंच जाना चाहिए. It should reach to that person. Suppose you are in an industry and you are working as an executive engineer and you have 2 superior officers above you and 2 below you. So you are getting data from your juniors and you have to do some insight, and the insight must reach to your superior. So the level of perception depends from hierarchy. जो जितना टॉप पे होगा उसका परसेप्शन उस हिसाब से होगा. Exactly we started from the big thing. इतना बड़ा सा शुरू किया हमने और धीरे धीरे रीच करके हम ऊपर एक जगह तक पहुंच गए. Right? That is kind of knowledge, and that knowledge is to be conveyed to your the officer, the stakeholder. किसी ऑफिसर ने बोला कि why our sale is going up? What is the reason? Please find it out. आपको ये पता करना है. सेल इज गोइंग. सपोज फ्लिपकार्ट का हम एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं. फ्लिपकार्ट का जो सीईओ है उसने कहा कि दिस मंथ द सेल वाज लो. प्लीज लेट मी नो व्हाई सो. That is the only question he asked. So you have to do lots of other things. You have to do survey, you have to do your other related lots of things, and ultimately the conclusion is that there was a dip or dip in the sale just because there was there was a problem with the stock. There was low stock or something. So only one sentence is enough for him, but you started with many things, right? So the question is, it should be communicated. The purpose of visualization is insight, not just a picture. जो मैंने बार ग्राफ बना दिया, पाई ग्राफ बना दिया. I'm not going to present pie graph or heat map or something to my superior जिसने question पूछा है. I'll just convey the information, insight from the visual I have taken, I have received, I have perceived to my superior or a CEO. Got it? So these are the objectives. There are 4 objectives. One is a strive for form and function. Second is justifying the selection of everything we do. Creating accessibility through intuitive design. And the last but not least, very important, never deceive the receiver. किसी को भी धोखा नहीं देना है. True visualize. आपको पिक्चर ऐसी बना दी कि पिक्चर कुछ और कन्वे कह रही है, डेटा को आपने हाइड करने की कोशिश की. सपोज मैंने कहा पाई चार्ट में टोटल जो है वो 100 होना चाहिए, पर आपको किसी एक कंपोनेंट को ज्यादा दिखाना है तो टोटल उसका आपने है तो वो कम, पर आपने उसके स्लाइस बहुत बड़ी बना दी. That is one of the example. So we'll take all these 4 objectives one by one. First is strive for form and function. What does it mean? The cognitive, as I keep on saying, cognitive is a load on brain. Perceptual design. We should make people clear and they should have an accurate interpretation. What is given, they should understand it, interpret it. हर एक जने का अपना अपना perception है. So if you have people in hierarchy, the same person, the different person may perceive one line. एक लाइन को सब अपने अपने तरह से perceive करते हैं. So it is important to get to know who are the audience, who is the target. जिसको आपको बताना है what is their perception. Got it? So that's how we have to visualize such a way that the actual target or the important stakeholders must understand it. Got it? Suppose आपने कि रूरल एरिया में गए और आपने सब इंग्लिश में कुछ उनको सुनाना शुरू कर दिया, they'll not perceive it. So we should reach to the actual stakeholders in their perception. जितना उनको समझ में आएगा उस तरह से उनको समझाना है. That is the logic behind it. Strive for form and function. Gain useful insights based on what they see. How they see, how they perceive, how they receive. Everything we have to do like this. So there's a link behind it. Everything about this first objective is given in detail. You can just read it. So this is another visual. What does it say? It is a 2D, and we have some dots around from 20 to 10 to 20 on x-axis and 10 to 30 on y-axis. But you can see one dot is an outlier. That is around 45 from x-axis and at 60, more than 60 at y-axis. It's conveying some story. So for example, it is a fraud detection. We can say something had happened. A person usually makes these kind of transactions, but suddenly it happened, right? So this visual, without letting something displaying, but conveying that there's an outlier. So that is again issue of data science. How do we handle the outliers? This is again a story. This is a visual. I'll explain one by one. The second objective is justifying the selection of everything we do. We need to justify whatever we do, we have to have a reason why we are doing it. So we are so busy thinking about what we can do things. हम ये सोचते रहते हैं कि हमें क्या क्या करना है, but generally we forget हमें करना है कि हमें करना चाहिए कि नहीं. What is the justification behind it? We keep on doing things, but should we do it? Should be done or not to be done? That is a justification. Everything you do must be thoroughly planned. The plan must be understood, and there must be some justification doing it. There are lots of choices we occur every day. We have to choose one. जब भी हम कुछ करते हैं तो mostly हमारे पास choices होती हैं, ये करें कि ये करें. That all the plans must be understood first and chosen wisely with a reason. अगर ये करेंगे तो ये होगा, ये करेंगे तो ये होगा. Pros and cons. So that's what we are doing na, in life. The same thing happens with the visualization. मुझे पाई चार्ट बनाना चाहिए, मुझे बार चार्ट बनाना चाहिए, मुझे लाइन चार्ट बनाना चाहिए, इसमें ये प्रॉब्लम आएगी, इसमें दिखेगा, something like that. So justifying the selection of everything we do. Lots of ample of choices we have always, but we choose one. We have to choose only one. आपको jobs मिल रही हैं, आपको industry में मिल रहा है, आपको teaching में भी मिल रहा है, आपको research में भी मिल रहा है. You choose according to your taste, according to the justification. Right? This is what the second objective is saying. So look at this example. This is a 3D bar graph. So I think it's difficult to understand for you as well. For me, yes, it is difficult for me. If I make the another choice, is it better? Yes, it is better. It's clear, mentioning this is depicting a clear story of the data. So actually, we are making visuals not for the for the visualization purpose, for the insight purpose. Here we are able to compare the things, and it's not giving us the cognitive load. वो जो bright colors दिख रहे हैं और 3D में graphs दिख रहे हैं, पीछे की जो story है, जो second वाला bar है उसमें yellow, फिर blue and green, वो तो पूरा दिख ही नहीं रहा है ठीक से. And here we can say it. So Earlier जब तक मैंने भी data visualization नहीं पढ़ा था, I used to take the first kind of thing कि ये अच्छा है, I should go for this. It's very attractive. But we are not talking about the attractiveness. We are saying there's no deceiving in the second visual. It's conveying the story. So there's a title, resort revenues, fiscal years are written. इसमें 3D में जो दिख रहा है आपको fiscal year, FY 93, 94, 95. Here fiscal years are written above the graph, and we have got Haven Club, Bahamas Beach, French Riviera, clearly pictured, and years are mentioned below: 1993, 1994, 1995, and this is the revenue on y-axis. So exactly, everything is with the justification. The third one is creating accessibility through intuitive design. So look at the visual. Here we have y-axis where we have got two scales. First is 0 to 100, second is 0 to 1000. That is also possible in the visuals. We can have multi-axis visuals. On the same axis, we can have multi-scales. So look at the movie title. We have a movie title, Rotten Tomato score, and it is profit. So for my understanding, or from must be from your side as well, it's not giving the actual idea. So overload, clutter, and confuser. These are the attributes they are making our design failure, making our design failed. Is cluttering, is too much of saying. हमें बहुत ज़्यादा एक ही विजुअल में बहुत ज़्यादा कहानी नहीं कहनी होती है. Overload नहीं रखना है. So design must be easy to understand, regardless of the user's experience, knowledge, language skill or concentration level. ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई जो यूजर है बहुत ज्यादा एक्सपीरियंस है उसको तो सब समझ में आ ही जाएगा. Still we have to be moderate enough, not everything too much. Too much of contents in a visual is making a visual clutter, and it creates confusion. I should choose this, what is it conveying? Many things make a mess. The fourth one is, that is very important, we have to be honest every time. We can't deceive the receiver. Receiver is our audience target. So look at these two pie charts. First one is saying there are two slices and almost 15% is of one slice and remaining is other slice. While in the second 3D pie graph, we are not able to say what percentage the second slice is. From the 2D perspective, we can say it's around 15%, right? But from the 3D perspective, it's not visible. That is a deceive. So look at this data. Here, the blue slice, the bigger one, how much you can see? From the visual point of view, is more than 50%. But in data, it is only 33%. It is only 33%. That is nothing but a deceiving to the users, to the receivers. Look at the Medicare. Medicare in data, it is saying 53%. But in the slice, it is less than 50. Getting? So we have to be careful. One should be careful. What the picture is saying, what the data is saying. So generally, we have a big idea from the pictures. I hope it's okay. Now, next example, never deceive the deceiver. Look at this picture. We have 13%, 10%, 10%, and 52% in the last bar. That is green in color. So look at the difference, 10% and 52%. It's not making a ratio. Similarly, here in 12.3%, the next slide, visual, 12.3% and 12.4%. Only 1% difference, but it's making a big difference in terms of graph. So it is significant distortion of the truth. Because something is to be highlighted, then they have done a difference, big difference. So this is the example of deceiving the receiver. So data visualization, common display types. So we have got bar charts, we have got line charts, we have got pie charts, bubble charts, stack charts, scatter plot. If anything is to be explained, please let me know. I hope they are understood. So here at the below, you can see that is example of bubble charts. So I have taken the same example earlier as well, that in terms of shape. According to the shape and size, we can convey the data. We can get the insight of the data. Got it? The example of bar chart is below that. And we have got example of stack chart. This is a, iske paas mein jo hai, that is a example of stacked chart. एक के ऊपर एक stacking हुई है. And scatter plots, जो last में है lower bottom. Sorry, right bottom, right bottom. That is example of scatter plot. Shall I proceed? So again, this is a clarity. I hope it's understood. This is example of heat map. This is again a visualization. According to data, we can change the hue. This is a hue. Hue is a some kind of saturation or intensity of the color. जैसे जैसे color intense हुआ, value बढ़ती जाएंगी. So when color is like kind of black, this is 600, and it's becoming lighter, it's going to 200. So in everywhere in the picture, if you find a lighter color, it means a less value, or intense or saturated color, it's a more value, it's high value. Hope it's understood. So sometimes we have not only a single value at a point. Abhi tak so far we have seen the example of comparison of values. But what if we have lots of data to be compared? So first data is to be analyzed and get some insight out of data, and that insight is to be plotted. So the Tukey, the scientists, proposed the idea of a box plot to visualize the distribution of value. These are the two links written over here about the data box plot. This is the box plot, big idea of box plot, and a whisker plot as well. So here we have whiskers are just lines. So you can see I have got, say, data of my 120 students of class 5th semester, then data of 7th semester. Again, some data is not exactly 120, maybe 100, or say 9th semester, or say 3rd semester. We have other data. मुझे ये बस just पता करना है कि what is the minimum, what is the maximum, what is the average of on marks of these classes. The details of all these classes are different, but we need to compare. So we can take the important things like first quartile, second quartile, and we can calculate other things. The important things are outliers. Outliers are like less than minimum or more than maximum. So we have median. Median we can calculate 25% of percentile is Q1, 75% of the data is Q3. We can have an IQR interquartile percentile, that is Q3 minus Q1, and so many things. This is important part to be taught in data science when we do pre-processing of data. So here you can see the minimum is Q1 minus 1.5 IQR. IQR is a Q3 minus Q1. and the maximum is Q3 plus 1.5 IQR, and beyond maximum minimum, if we get some values, those are outliers. So the students, those are outliers, can be paid attention. This is how this example is working for the academic purpose. So if you have, say, 5 classes or 5 experiments with the 5 teachers, so this is from 700 to 1000, and look at the whiskers. पहला जो डेटा है उसका जो whisker है वो ऊपर चला गया, that is the maximum. और जो छोटे छोटे से डॉट बने हुए हैं थर्ड वाली में, those are the outliers beyond the maximum or minimum. So this is how box plot can be used as a visual. When we have a variety of data and data is too big, instead of using all the data, we can have some analysis. We can get these box plot information, and that information can be plotted. So it is clearly understood from the visual that the third experiment has got too many outliers. It has there's a very less difference between minimum and maximum, and 25 percentile, 75 percentile, and so on. So there are lots of other visualization tools as well. I'm not taking it right now. One of them important is a Tabulo. Tabulo is the free and as well as paid for the commercial purpose, free for the academic purpose. For 1 year license, we can obtain it, and that is very good. It has this copyright as well. We have to take the license from our academic purpose. For the teachers, for the students, is free for 1 year, and for other purpose, we have to pay the fee. It is on desktop version. It has a cloud version as well, and other versions. So details you can see on the Tableau. The next visualization tool is a Looker. Looker is again paid, but is very good. So visualization in R is taught by today only, or maybe next week, maybe tomorrow. We have one more visualization tool, that is FDP. It has scatter plot, histogram, line charts, and it is for basically 3D purpose. So now I'm coming to my topic, that is a Python. I hope concepts of visualization is taken well by you. In case of any question, please let me know. Yes. Geeta, you're saying something? You have question? Okay, I request you to please unmute. Mute yourself. I request you to please mute. So the question is, why do we use Python? Python is fast for data science? The answer is, both answers are true, no or yes. In general, we say Python is good for data science, but not fast. But yes, sometimes it's fast when we use the libraries. So we have important libraries as like Numpy, is generally used for the numbers and numerical values. We have Python, we have C extension, we have a number, and there are lots of things. I'll take only the limited ones: NumPy, Panda, and Matplotlib as Seaborn. So I hope everyone has installed Matplotlib so far. We have shared a video as well for Windows, and because data science is means many things are in Python, so it's the third day, you must have done it before as well. I hope you have done it. So for the visualization purpose, there are two main libraries. So
excuse me.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, I'm having a question. Like we saw so many graphs which you showed at like pie chart and then bar, then there is that scatter plot. So is there any specific graph in the research which we should go for making clear that
Everything is very useful. Every graph is useful. It depends on the logic, what exactly we want to convey. That's why there's a full course on visualization in data science. As we do NLP, IR, so it's a full course on visualization. for what purpose we have to do it. So it's not only about the one graph at a time. We can have many visuals simultaneously in one figure, one screen, that is dashboard. So it depends. Generally, we avoid pie chart. Generally, we avoid pie charts, but sometimes we take bar chart, sometimes we take vertical, sometimes horizontal. It depends कि आपको कहाँ क्या चीज रखनी है. What is the importance of the data you want to convey? So that's what in the beginning I told you, I taught you that we have to choose our interface such that according to the problem or according to data, the interface only can decide what visual it should be, what visual should be taken for the purpose.
Okay,
So
and that
ऐसा
means the
कुछ होता
logic.
नहीं.
Okay.
Yes. That's why I've
Okay.
taken 3 visuals initially. शुरू में जो मैंने 3 स्टोरी बनाई थी ना, for a different purpose. We have taken one for pie, one for bar, and one for missing context. So everything is important. ऐसा नहीं है कि पाई खराब है, खराब कुछ भी नहीं है, और अच्छा बहुत अच्छा कुछ भी नहीं है. So everything is a trade-off depending on the context. But in general, line और bar से हमारा काम चल जाता है. But if I choose line graph and there's nothing to differentiate, overlapping है या फिर colors अच्छे नहीं लिए आपने, then it doesn't make sense. Right?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
अगर ऐसा होता तो हम कहते कि ये तो सब बेकार है, इन 3 को हम पढ़ लेते हैं. ऐसा नहीं है. Heat maps are very important. We have important scatter chart. We have blocks plot for the data science. Earlier हम लोग जब अभी तक जितना भी हमने पढ़ा है, we are PhDs and since 30 years I am in teaching. So far I have never used box plot, but since being a data scientist, I have been using box plot very oftenly. Box plots are basically for the pre-processing of the data. So first question comes to mind that how do we pre-process the data? How do we remove the outliers? How do we remove the noisy layers, noisy things? There we use visualization. तो विजुअलाइजेशन यूज करने के लिए फिर हमें बॉक्स प्लॉट इज द बेस्ट फॉर दिस केस, अगर हमें आउटलियर से डिटेक्ट करने हैं तो.
Okay, ma'am.
Should I proceed? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
If anyone is having a question, we can have 2 to 3 minutes or 5 minutes of discussion, so that I hope everyone is ready with the Jupyter node or Colab. We'll have hands-on now.
Yes, madam. I've already mailed to all the candidates.
Yes. It's 1 hour now, so we can do lots of hands-on. Otherwise, what I'll do, I'll share my code on chat box. You just copy it and write it in your any interface. You must be having a virtual environment of Anaconda. Some may be having Jupyter Note or Notebook, or some may be Spider, or some may be directly doing on Colab. Everything is okay with me. और अगर किसी का नहीं है तो no worries, I'll share the slides. You can copy it from there. And I have given a reference of all the links I have been using and all the books I am going through or I have gone through.
Okay, ma'am.
So these are the main libraries we are going to use it. Before we come to Matplotlib or Seaborn, one can ask, can we do it with a simple thing? अगर मुझे simple graph बनाना, this is the simplest example I can show you. Here we have used Matplotlib. Matplotlib में we have we have to import it from the Matplotlib. पहले ये वाला बता देती हूँ मैं. I'll come back to that slide. So Matplotlib is the first Python visualization tool. First, still it's a de facto standard. So far, it has been not proved, but still it's a state of art. मतलब books में नहीं है ये लिखा हुआ, but इससे अच्छा कुछ नहीं आया अभी in terms of Python. On the top of the matplot, we have other things. The second thing, it replicates MATLAB. MATLAB का जो API है ना, उसकी तरह ही काम करता है. So it has some drawbacks as well. but it supports many backends. It's kind of openware. Matplotlib is a comprehensive library for creating static, animated, interactive visualization. Interactive is very important. बहुत सारे ऐसे tools हैं जहाँ पे static animated होता है, but interactive is very important thing. आपने एक बार प्रोग्राम लिख दिया, you keep on inputting your data dynamically, और आपके ग्राफ्स चेंज होते रहते हैं. जैसे डेटा चेंज होगा, ग्राफ चेंज हो जाएगा. That's the beauty. मैटप्लॉट जैसे आपने CSV फाइल यूज की है या कोई टेक्स्ट फाइल यूज किया, यू आर रीडिंग दैट फाइल. पाइथन में हम रीड कर रहे हैं, जैसे जैसे आपके वहां पर डेटा चेंज होगा, आपके विजुअल्स चेंज हो जाएंगे डायनेमिकली. इट कीप्स ऑन चेंजिंग. यू कैन डू समथिंग ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ टाइम कि इतने बजे ये डेटा चेंज होगा तो फिर ये विजुअल चेंज होगा. एंड जैसे हम चेंज करते हैं ना, रेलवे स्टेशन पे जाते हैं तो वहां पे प्लेटफॉर्म की जो स्लाइड आती है दिखती रहती है कि ये आपका ये जगह है जहाँ पे ये वाला डिब्बा आएगा. इट कीप्स ऑन चेंजिंग, राइट? तो आप डेटा को कोई कंप्यूटर में बैठ के चेंज कर रहा है और आपके विजुअल्स कहीं और दिख रहे हैं. दैट्स व्हाट वी कैन डू इट फ्रॉम पाइथन. So matplotlib makes easy things easy and hard things possible. That's the beauty. So read it again what I'm saying. Matplotlib makes easy thing easy. जो भी easy है ना उसको और easy बना देगा. And hard things जो possible नहीं थी उनको possible बना देगा. Hard things may be difficult but possible हो गई हैं. So create publication quality plots. Make interactive figures that can zoom, pan, update. We can even zoom it, pan it, update it. Customize visual style and layout. Export to many file formats. We can import the data and the visuals can be exported again to maybe JPEG में जैसे हमने बना लिया या किसी और फॉर्मेट में बना दिया, and we can export it to the concerned person. So this is the basic plot. Here I have written everything. If you can see it, मैं थोड़ा सा छोटा बना दिया. So here's the example of do I need to share this? Is it visible? So how do we import it? Import के लिए we have to write import matplotlib dot pyplot. Pyplot is a sub library of matplotlib. pyplot में ही सारे विजुअल्स हैं जो कि matplotlib की एक सब लाइब्रेरी है. तो it's like x.y. y is a sub library of x. So we have to mention full name. जैसे हम एक बड़े फोल्डर में है, उसमें सब फोल्डर्स हैं, तो हमें सब फोल्डर को एक्सेस करने के लिए बड़े फोल्डर का रेफरेंस देना होता है. सिमिलर तो इसका हमने एक एलियास दिया है PLT. जनरली वी से PLT, इट्स अ स्टैंडर्ड, बट यू कैन टेक एनीथिंग. सपोज मैंने P1 लिखा, इट विल बी वर्किंग. द सेकंड लाइब्रेरी वी आर इंपोर्टिंग इज अ numpy. numpy, व्हाई डू वी यूज numpy? जब मैटप्लॉटलिब ले लिया है तो हमें numpy की क्या जरूरत है? बिकॉज वी आर मैनिपुलेटिंग इन द नंबर्स. हमें नंबर चाहिए. सपोज हमें एरे चाहिए, एरे ऑफ नंबर्स, तो हमें numpy चाहिए. उसमें फिर हम करेंगे क्या? मैटप्लॉटलिब में हम करेंगे जब हमारे पास नंबर नहीं है. So these are the libraries we are importing here, and this is the next statement is a style. So style, there are lots of style ये library में है सब. pyplot की style एक function है, उसमें हमने ये वाला पास किया है. So that can be seen from this library. आप library को खोल के जितने भी passing parameters हैं, you can check it, and this is very standard. You can skip it as well. अभी जरूरत नहीं है, अभी हम इसको डील नहीं कर रहे हैं. Now this is hash make data is for documentation purpose, for the comment purpose. So we have some variable as it is a interpretable language, तो हम जो भी वहाँ लिखेंगे वो उस समय create हो जाएगा. NP क्या है? जो हमने number py का alias बनाया था, it can be anything as well. यहाँ पे हम जान के हमने NP लिया है, very standard. You can take anything, say N1. तो N1 हमने यूज किया, तो जहाँ भी इसको रेफर करेंगे तो हम लिखेंगे N1 dot. This is line space. This kind of array. It's a member function. इस library का member function है जो कि हमने यूज किया. And here we have passed 3 arguments. First is 0 starting, जो भी हम array बना रहे हैं, और the highest यहाँ तक जाएगा. and these are the number of steps. इतने में convert हो जाएगा. तो in total we'll be having 100 numbers.
Ma'am,
And
excuse
why
me, ma'am.
first? Yes, please.
Ma'am, like where is on the data which we have been working actually? We
This is the data only, na? I'm creating the data. I'm creating an array to show you the visual.
okay.
We have got x-axis and y-axis. So x-axis is created with the help of this line space 0 to 10 because this is the simplest graph, na? We are needing only x and y. So
Okay,
first
that
I'm
means
creating x.
we are making this code to draw the sinusoidal curve.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am, got it.
Got it, na?
Thank
This
you.
is simplest. We can read the data from other files. जो भी हमारा किसी folder में पड़ा है ना, we can give the path of that folder. We can read CSV file, we can read text file. That is a part of Python. Visualization purpose के लिए मैं वो नहीं ले रही हूँ अभी. मैं simple चीजें ले रही हूँ. Later you can just put a path कि वो data वहाँ से read करेगा.
Okay, ma'am.
क्योंकि it's difficult to make you understand an online class. अगर ये ऑफलाइन में हुआ होता तो मैं करके दिखा देती. मेरा पैन ही नहीं चल रहा है. डिफिकल्ट फॉर मी टू मेक. अदरवाइज मेरा हाथ चल रहा है पर मैं यू आर नॉट एबल टू सी इट. दैट्स द लिमिटेशन ऑफ द कोविड. यस, अगर हम ऑफलाइन किए होते तो ज्यादा अच्छे से समझा पाती मैं.
Exactly.
आई होप स्टिल यू आर गेटिंग इट.
Yes, ma'am.
So yeah, I am trying to make you understand the sinusoidal curve, sine curve जो हम दिखा रहे हैं. So accordingly I have taken the data. I am creating my own data in terms of x and y. Got it? So x is this and y is in terms of x only. So I am using x and y. x जो मेरा बन गया है मैं x की एक एक वैल्यू उठाऊंगी और y में डालती जा रही हूँ. So x और y are nothing but the arrays. 100 वैल्यूज हैं इनकी. x और y में 100 वैल्यूज हैं एंड y की वैल्यू क्योंकि हमें साइन कर्व बनाना है, आई हैव टेकन इट फ्रॉम x and this is a hash plot is a document as a comment. So now what is needed is we have got figure.ax. Ax is a x-axis, x-axis. Ay is a y-axis, y-axis. तो मेरा PLT मैंने कहाँ से लिया था? ऊपर से. PLT is just like a object. Object में मैंने क्या पास किया है? एक member function पास किया है. Subplots is a reserved word, is a function and nothing is needed. ये fig.ax से क्या हुआ? एक मेरा figure बन गया है. Not yet plotted. It's in my hand. Memory में है ये fig.ax. अब मैं इसको plot कर रही हूँ. जो मेरा fig बना है, figure बनी है. Figure का नाम क्या है? x-axis. ax जो मैंने प्लॉट कर रहा है उसमें क्या क्या पैरामीटर्स पास कर रही हूँ? x और y जो मैंने डेटा जनरेट किया था ऊपर. एंड थर्ड जो ऑप्शन है लाइन विड्थ, दैट इज ऑप्शनल. और इसके अलावा भी बहुत सारे ऑप्शंस हैं. आई एम टेकन 3 ओनली फॉर सिंप्लिसिटी. इसमें हम कलर्स भी दे सकते हैं. बाय डिफॉल्ट कलर इज ब्लू. इफ यू डोंट स्पेसिफाई द कलर इट्स अ ब्लू. इवन यू कैन चेंज द कलर. But right now I can't take all the colors because it's not interactive. Otherwise हम Jupyter Note में हम जब लिखना शुरू करते हैं, ये कोलैब में करते हैं, तो जैसे आप सब प्लॉट पे जाएंगे और लाइन विड्थ लिखना शुरू करेंगे तो इट विल गिव यू द साइजेस भी देगा और कलर लिखेंगे तो कलर्स भी दे देगा सारे. यू कैन चूज इट. इट्स अ यूज ऑफ IDE. So line width I have taken for simplicity 2. You can take 1, 3, 5, whatever you want to do it. So this is ax.plot. इसमें ये भी प्लॉट नहीं हुआ है, शो नहीं करेगा. स्टिल it's not going to show you. And now what I'm doing, I'm setting the limits. मुझे x axis पे 0 to 8 you can count it. जो तुम्हारे जो ग्रिड बनी है ना 8x8 की है क्योंकि मैंने लिमिट सेट कर दी है. और उस लिमिट में x क्या है? x ये जो ग्रिड में बना है निशान है 1 to 8 पे, पहले पे दूसरे पे ये जो ग्रिड बनी है ये दिख रहा है आपको विजुअल. खाने बने छोटे छोटे से. दीज आर फ्रॉम 1 to 8. सिमिलरली वाई टिक्स, हम वाई टिक्स पे बना सकते हैं। अगर आप चाहें वाई टिक्स नहीं बनाता तो इसको कमेंट कर दीजिए एंड सी द इफेक्ट। आई होप एवरीवन इज डूइंग इट। आई एम वेरी श्योर दैट एवरीवन इज नॉट एबल टू डू इट, बट कुछ लोग तो कर रहे हैं, दैट इज वेरी श्योर। नाउ एट लास्ट वी हैव टू शो इट। जब तक आप शो नहीं करेंगे, दिस इज अ सीक्वेंस। फर्स्ट यू हैव टू क्रिएट द फिगर, देन यू हैव टू सेट द प्लॉट, देन दिस इज ऑप्शनल। लिमिट्स और ये जो टेक्स्ट हैं ये ऑप्शनल हैं, आप ये सेट नहीं करेंगे तो चलेगा। तो ax.plot is compulsory and plot.show is compulsory. Got it?
Ma'am, why it is written ax dot bar actually? Bar is symbolizing what?
Where is bar?
Ax dot bar.
कहाँ पे दिख रही है?
मैम हैश प्लॉट के जो नीचे
और
आपने
फर्स्ट प्लॉट में बात कर रहे हैं। फर्स्ट प्लॉट में, फर्स्ट वाला जो बेसिक प्लॉट है, ब्लू व्हाइट वाली स्क्रीन पे।
मैं ब्लैक वाली स्क्रीन पे देख रही थी मैम।
अच्छा, मैं भी व्हाइट वाली समझा रही हूँ। आई एम कमिंग बैक टू दैट।
अच्छा, बोथ आर डिफरेंट मैडम?
यस, बोथ आर डिफरेंट।
ओके,
बोथ, इनका दोनों का ग्राफ भी अलग अलग है ना। ये पहले वाले का ग्राफ है,
गॉट
जो
इट।
आपका कर्व है वो पहले वाले का है। जो साइन कर्व है, साइन वेव, वो पहले वाले की बात चल रही है। मैं सेकंड वाले पे आ रही हूँ अभी।
गॉट इट मैडम।
So I think first is understood. I'm coming to the second one. So second one में there is a use of again numpy. numpy में एक function होता है random dot seed that you can learn, और कुछ लोगों को आता भी होगा. The seed value is 3. It's starting from 3. Random value generate हो रही है यहाँ पे, और random value जो generate हो रही है वो y में भी हम भेज रहे हैं। मतलब x और y को create करने का way है ये. You can do anything. That you have to understand how does random work. Random is a function. Random एक तरह से लाइब्रेरी है, उसके अंदर से फिर से फंक्शन है और इस तरह से काम करता है. सो अल्टीमेटली व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, आई हैव क्रिएटेड x एंड y 2 बार्स. ठीक है. नाउ द क्वेश्चन इज ax डॉट बार, उसकी जो विड्थ है, इट्स अ बार ग्राफ ना, इट्स अ बार ग्राफ काइंड ऑफ थिंग. जो यहाँ पे आपको स्कैटर प्लॉट दिख रहा है ना, स्कैटर प्लॉट की जगह आपको बार ग्राफ दिखेगा. ये विजुअल अलग है, ये बार ग्राफ के लिए है. जो आप बार पूछ रहे हैं ना प्रियंका,
हाँ
वो
जी
बार
मैम।
ग्राफ. इसको आप कॉपी करिए और जुपिटर नोटबुक में चलाएंगे तो ये बार ग्राफ बनेगा. और इसकी जो लेंथ है ना, ये लिमिट है 0 to 8. और जो टिक्स है, टिक्स मतलब कि वो ग्रिड बनेगी 1 to 8 के बीच में. और y की लिमिट भी 0 to 8 है. यू कैन चेंज 0 to 4 करके देखिए. एवरीथिंग यू कीप ऑन चेंजिंग एंड यू आर गेटिंग अ डिफरेंट ग्राफ. और अगर बार की जगह हमें स्कैटर लेना हो तो हम वहां वाला स्कैटर सेट कर लेते हैं. इट्स अ टाइप ऑफ ग्राफ. अगर मुझे लाइन लेना है तो आई कैन से लाइन, है ना. और ये जो विड्थ है ना, ये
यस मैम।
जो बार्स के बीच में जो विड्थ है, दैट इज अ विड्थ. जो कलर है, जो बार का कलर आएगा वो व्हाइट होगा.
ओके,
ठीक है.
यस मैम।
शायद और इससे क्लैरिटी आएगी. हमने लाइन का एग्जांपल लिया यहाँ पे. सो अगेन वी हैव गॉट नाउ, अभी तक जो समझाया था मैंने आपको, 2 ही था मेरे पास, एक्स वाई. नाउ आई गॉट x1 y1. 2 ग्राफ्स बनाने हैं मुझे. मैंने 2 ग्राफ्स बनाए हैं, x1 y1 का एक, x2 y2 का. तो एक छोटे से 4 लाइन के कोड में मेरे 2 ग्राफ बन गए. What I did, I have not generated data. I have fixed it. x2, 1, 2, 3 in x1, 4, 5, 6 in y1, 1, 3, 5 in x2, 6, 5, 4 in y2. These are my fixed values. I can change it here only. मैंने पहला प्लॉट जो है, मैंने पहली फिगर बनाई है और उसको हमने प्लॉट 1 में रखा. प्लॉट 1 को हम प्लॉट कर रहे हैं. अब जो भी प्लॉट होगा वो, क्योंकि मेरे पास अभी जो मेमोरी में है वो फिगर 1 है, तो व्हाट आई एम डूइंग, plt.plot. प्लॉट इज अ मेंबर फंक्शन. उसमें क्या पास कर रही हूँ, x1 y1. प्लॉट 1 से मुझे क्या मिला, एक एरिया मिला जहां पे मुझे x1 y1 को प्लॉट करना है। फिर मैंने प्लॉट 2 किया, फिर मेरा दूसरा फिगर आ गया और उसमें मैंने x2 y2 को प्लॉट किया। सो लुक एट दिस, 1 2 3 और 4 5 6 में क्या है, दे आर इंक्रीजिंग। 1 के साथ 4, 2 के साथ 5, 3 के साथ 6 बढ़ रहा है। While in case of this second graph, 1 के साथ 6, 3 के साथ 5, 5 के साथ, is in decreasing order. So by default it has taken minimum and maximum value. x1 पे कितनी values ली हैं, जो कि 1 2 3 है। 1 is the minimum, 3 is maximum. Similarly x2 में 1 is minimum, 5 is maximum. So it has taken all the values from the data itself. We didn't mention, हमने कुछ भी mention नहीं किया. It's taking its own. Getting? Now you can ask a question, can we label them? हम x axis पे label कर सकते हैं, y label पे axis कर y axis पे label दे सकते हैं. Can we have the legions? Suppose 1 के साथ 4 है और 2 के साथ 5 है and they are saying something. So जो ये हमने line by default blue line खींची है, line graph है ये, तो what does it mean convey? जो भी ये convey कर रहा है, that ligand we can say. अब मैं एक एक करके थोड़ा सा और डिटेल में जाती हूँ. थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्ट है ये, इसके पहले सिंपल वाला ले लेते हैं. I wanted to show you something. You are able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, whatever you are doing, it has been visible.
Okay. Look at this. सिंपल से लेते हैं हम. मैंने आपको जो बोला था ना कि आप पहले चेक कर लीजिए कि आपने पाइथन इंस्टॉल किया है क्या. तो आई हैव रिटन एक्सक्लेमेशन मार्क पाइथन ब्लैंक डैश डैश वर्जन. तो दिस इज गिविंग मी, ये आंसर आया इसका पाइथन 3.8.5. यहाँ पे हम करेंगे पिप इंस्टॉल किया हुआ है क्या वर्जन, ये आंसर आएगा. ठीक है, फिर हम छोटा छोटा सा एग्जांपल कर लेते हैं. यहाँ पे मैंने चेक किया कि मेरे पास मैटप्लॉट इंस्टॉल्ड है क्या, बिकॉज आई हैव ऑलरेडी. तो अदरवाइज आपके पास नहीं है तो आप ये डालेंगे पिप इंस्टॉल एक्सक्लेमेशन मार्क से, तो दिखाएगा इज इट इंस्टॉल, और नहीं होगा तो वो कर देगा, इंस्टॉल कर देगा. इन माई केस इट इज ऑलरेडी देयर, सो नो नीड टू डू इट. गॉट इट. यहाँ पे हम छोटा छोटा सा लेते हैं. यहाँ पे मैंने कहा importing pandas library, import pandas as pd, import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Now I'm creating my own data. जैसे अभी डॉक्टर प्रियंका पूछ रही थी ना x और y कहाँ से आया, हम उसे मैं वहाँ क्रिएट कर रहे थे. Here I have created my table. Table has got one field. Second field is the name of the person, marks, gender and the city. Second, ये जो हम डेटाबेस में करते हैं ना, फर्स्ट इंस्टेंस एक आरडीबी में इसके मैंने टेबल बनाई है स्टूडेंट. ये हमारा पहला इंस्टेंस, ये है मेरा दूसरा इंस्टेंस. माय पॉइंट इज मूविंग. रोशनी 65.7 फीमेल जोधपुर, मॉन्टी 85.1 मेल किशनगढ़, स्टोनी 75.4 मेल अजमेर. This is the data. Now I'm using this data as a data frame. That is the beauty of pandas. Everything what we do, we play with the numbers, we play with the data that comes into data frame. Data frame is a way of representation. So here we have used this PD, that is a panda की library है ये data frame. इससे हमने क्या पास किया, जो हमने ऊपर टेबल बनाई है, and we are giving the names of the table. First जो attribute है उसका हमने attribute का नाम दिया है name, second का marks, third का gender, fourth का address. एंड जैसे आप यहाँ लिखना शुरू करते हैं, सपोज मुझे एक और नाम देना है, आई एम राइटिंग इट, होप यू आर सीइंग इट. एड्रेस मैं यहाँ लिख रही हूँ जैसे आई वॉज राइटिंग हियर एड्रेस के बाद मैंने लिखा से
फोन
टेलीफोन,
नंबर।
यस है ना। तो अब मुझे यहाँ पे बढ़ाना पड़ेगा सब में। सपोज मैंने यहाँ लिख दिया टेलीफोन नंबर 23, यहाँ पे मैंने लिख दिया 45, यहाँ पे मैंने लिख दिया 67, यहाँ पे मैंने लिख दिया 90। टेलीफोन नंबर है हाइपोथेटिकल। अब हमें क्या करना है, ये जो मेरा प्लॉट कर रही हूँ ना मैं, मुझे चाहिए नेम और मार्क्स पे चाहिए। वट एवर डेटा इज विथ मी, आई एम टेकिंग ओनली 2 थिंग्स। मुझे एक्स और वाई चाहिए। तो आई हैव चूजन df डॉट प्लॉट x, तो फर्स्ट कॉलम का नाम, और सेकंड मेरा है y, और x लेबल का नाम दिया मैंने नेम। दिस इज अ नेम, आई कैन गिव एनीथिंग जो बिकॉज इट्स स्टैटिक। नेम ऑफ स्टूडेंट लिखा मैंने, नेम ऑफ स्टूडेंट, दैट इज माय लेबल फॉर अंडरस्टैंडिंग पर्पस। मार्क्स ऑफ द स्टूडेंट, गॉट इट। अब हम क्या करेंगे, ये मेरा पूरा आ चुका है। आई विल रन इट। टू रन इधर आई कैन गो फॉर हियर और जस्ट रन इट। अब पूरा वहां से ऊपर से रन करूंगी तो जितना भी मेरा स्क्रिप्ट है वो पूरी रन होगी। एंड आई एम रनिंग ओनली दिस वन। सो लुक एट दिस, दीज आर द 4 स्टूडेंट्स एंड स्टूडेंट वाइज मार्क्स उन्होंने लाइन ग्राफ से बना दिए, बाय डिफॉल्ट से लाइन। एंड लुक एट दिस लेबल, नेम ऑफ द स्टूडेंट, नेम ऑफ मार्क्स ऑफ स्टूडेंट। मैंने पूरा नहीं लिखा था ना मार्क्स ऑफ द, तो मार्क्स ऑफ द आ गया। एंड दिस इज माय, ये जो मेरा था मार्क्स इज द लीजेंड। गेटिंग, इसका मैं कलर चेंज कर सकती हूँ यहाँ पे ही, ये ओनली इन द df plot there are lots of things I can do, keep on doing। आपको इसको कलर चेंज करना है, आपको स्टाइल चेंज करना है। दिस इज डैश्ड, छोटे से डैश। अगर मुझे स्टार बनाना है, आई विल शो यू द अनदर एग्जांपल। आई होप इट्स क्लियर, इट्स मेकिंग सेंस।
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so let's take another example। so we have another मैंने लिखा import numpy as np। ऑलरेडी अगर मैं कर चुकी होती तो नहीं लिखना होता है। यहाँ पे मैंने सिर्फ दिखाने के लिए आपको लिखा है। यहाँ पे मैंने पांडास यूज किया था। पांडास में हम डेटा फ्रेम यूज करते हैं और numpy में हम अरेज यूज करते हैं। So this is
There
one
is
of
one chat, ma'am. Excuse, sorry for disturbing you.
sure.
Yeah, some Jaya Balan madam is writing to please share the code here in this chat window.
I'm trying। ये वाला ना नीचे वाला कोड हम लिख रहे हैं। I'm copying it, Control C।
Okay, ma'am.
Where is my chat? I'm not able to see। chat window कहाँ पे है? Can you write something on chat, Priyanka? तो वो मुझे
Yes,
just
ma'am.
pop up हो जाए।
Actually, madam, when we suppose
नहीं
this part.
मेरे
Yes,
बहुत
yes, ma'am.
सारी चीजें खुली हुई है ना,
Yes,
इसलिए दिख नहीं रहा है मुझे। आप एक पॉपअप कर दीजिए, कुछ हेलो कर दीजिए तो मुझे विजिबल हो जाएगा, ऊपर आ
yes,
जाएगा तो
madam.
मुझे। I have copied it here।
Yes, madam. I'm doing. Uh, I'll send at your particular chat box, ma'am. Hope you got it, ma'am.
I have read it but not able to selection।
There is one symbol just beside of participants, I suppose.
वो पूरा एक्चुअली मैंने सब मिनिमाइज कर रखा है। आई एम ओनली ऑन द जुपिटर नोटबुक।
Okay. If you are able to do otherwise, it's okay, ma'am, because
हाँ बहुत छोटा सा है, प्लीज नोट इट डाउन। बहुत छोटा छोटा सा, आप जितने भी कमेंट्स है छोड़ दीजिए। आप कॉपी कर लीजिए यहाँ से, मतलब कॉपी कर देख लीजिए। जस्ट आई एम रीडिंग इट। आप लिखिए import numpy as np। next is hash वाली sign है, leave it। the second statement is t can be anything, it's a variable name। np dot arrange is a way of creating। आप एक array को create कर रहे हैं। जैसे मैंने लाइन स्पेस किया था ना, वैसे अरेंजमेंट ऑफ नंबर्स फ्रॉम 0 to 5 in intervals of 0.2. Getting? फिर थर्ड वाला छोड़ दीजिए, फिर से फोर्थ वाला लाइन है PLT, आप चाहें तो पेन से लिख लीजिए पेपर पे, PLT डॉट प्लॉट। अब मुझे 3 ग्राफ्स बनाने हैं, मैं 3 ग्राफ बनाए। बाय डिफॉल्ट ये लाइन होता है ना, आई एम नॉट मेंशनिंग द टाइप ऑफ ग्राफ। जैसे हमने एक में बार लिखा था ना, प्रियंका, डू यू रिमेंबर यू आस्क्ड व्हाट इज ग्राफ? बार वाज अ टाइप ऑफ ग्राफ, so here by
Okay.
default it's a line graph.
Okay, ma'am.
So instead of making one line at a time, I am making 3 lines in a different shapes. एक में मैंने डॉट डैश डैश दिया है, एक में मैंने स्क्वायर दिया है, एक में मैंने ट्राइंगल दिया है। सो हाउ डू आई डू इट? अब मैंने पहला जो ग्राफ है मेरा, दैट इज वर्सेस t एंड t प्लस 10। एक्स एक्सिस पे मेरा t जाएगा, मैंने ऊपर क्रिएट किया है। y एक्सिस पे t प्लस 10, यू कैन हैव एनीथिंग, यू कैन से t प्लस 2 और tt के बीच में एक कांस्टेंट लाइन बनेगी। एंड व्हाट काइंड ऑफ द डिपिक्शन आई वांट रेड इन कलर, that is r, small r. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ, अब दूसरा जो मेरा ग्राफ है दैट इज वर्सेस t एंड t स्क्वायर। t की वैल्यू 1 है तो y की वैल्यू हो जाएगी 1, t की वैल्यू 2 है तो y की वैल्यू हो जाएगी 4, t की वैल्यू 3 है तो y विल बी 9। एंड bs, व्हाट इज दिस bs? b for blue, s for square. Getting?
Yes,
And my
ma'am.
third graph is x axis is t and y axis is t cube, and that is in green color with the triangles, and I am showing it. Just try to run it, please. मैं इसको अपडेट कर देती हूँ, मैं एक और ले लेती हूँ। मैंने कहा t कॉमा, सेकेंड वाला जो है मेरा है t स्क्वायर स्टार स्टार t प्लस 1 कर देती हूँ, t प्लस 1। एंड फोर्थ ग्राफ बना रही हूँ मैं इसी लाइन में, फोर्थ माई ग्राफ है। हमने कहा RGB, तो मैं फिर से रेड ले लूँ, फिर से रेड ले लिया मैंने, फिर से ब्लू ले लेती हूँ। ब्लू इज बाय डिफॉल्ट, इफ आई डोंट राइट एनीथिंग इट विल बी इन ब्लू, सो आई एम नॉट टेकिंग, मैं हटा रही हूँ वहां से। तो या फिर मैं t प्लस 1 भी हटा देती हूँ, एक और मेरी लाइन बनेगी tt। व्हाट डज इट मीन? t वर्सेस t, सेम वैल्यू, एक कांस्टेंट लाइन बनने वाली है ब्लू कलर में, एंड आई एम रनिंग इट। इंस्टेड ऑफ 3 ग्राफ्स नाउ देयर विल बी 4 ग्राफ्स। देखा आपने चेंज? देयर इज अ चेंज। ये जो लाइन थी ना फोर्थ वाली, दिस इज ब्लू इन कलर बाय डिफॉल्ट, एंड देयर इज अ x वर्सेस x। जैसे जैसे x बढ़ रहा है सेम वैल्यू पे y बढ़ रहा है। So in one, only 4 lines, there are 4 graphs. By default is a line graph, by default is a color, and by default is a, it's now dashed. जो भी line connecting points है वो. The fourth one is an example of defaults.
So, like,
Other,
madam, in the t comma t, which color is shown?
blue by default. That's a different blue. ये जो bluish grayish blue होता है ना, वो वाला default होता है.
Ma'am, it is like you cannot see it in the graph actually. Okay, that this the light blue one.
हाँ, line वाले खींचे ना, fourth वाला, ये my
Yeah,
pointer
yeah,
gets.
yeah. Got it, madam.
तो देखिए आप सिर्फ एक लाइन से आपके कितने ग्राफ्स बन गए? 4 बन गए ना? मैं इसको चेंज करूं डिस्प्ले को? मैं इसको चेंज करती हूँ। अभी हमने कहा था t स्क्वायर t क्यूब t4 कर देती हूँ, और इसका कलर जो है उल्टा कर रही हूँ मैं, मतलब x एक्सिस पे बड़ा ले रही हूँ, y एक्सिस पे छोटा ले रही हूँ, और फिर से मैं इसका कलर चेंज कर रही हूँ, दैट इज रेड इन कलर, रेड। देखिए मैं अगर मैंने वो अपॉस्ट्रोफ नहीं लगाया होता तब तक वो कलर चेंज नहीं करेगा, दिखाएगा नहीं। रेड कलर लिया है मैंने, और मैं सर्कल ले लेती हूँ, छोटे छोटे से सर्कल ले लिए मैंने। सर्कल अभी तक नहीं लिया था ना हमने, सर्कल ले लिया मैंने। देखिए इसे चेंज कर दिया सब कुछ। सॉरी ज्यादा अच्छे से विजिबल नहीं है, तो आई एम मेकिंग इट चेंज। नाउ यू सी इट। देखिए फोर्थ वाली लाइन को मैंने t⁴ कर दिया, और r रेड इन कलर किया है, और जो शेप है वो छोटे छोटे सर्कल कर दिया है। सर्कल किससे बनता है? ओ से बनता है। इज इट क्लियर?
Yes, ma'am.
इज इट डिफिकल्ट?
No, ma'am. It's very easy.
हाँ। शुड आई टेक वन मोर? यहाँ पे मैंने बहुत सारे जुपिटर नोट में अपनी नोटबुक्स बना रखी हैं, बट वो सब अभी वो डिसेबल हो गए होंगे। फिर से जब भी आपको रन करना होता है, आपका जो स्क्रिप्ट है, यू हैव टू रन दिस वन। दिस वी हैव सीन ऑलरेडी ना, ये देख चुके हैं, ये हम देख चुके हैं, ये भी हम देख चुके हैं, ये हम देख चुके हैं ना। Not left. Okay. Now some of the example I have taken in slides, so I'm coming back to slides. Is it visible? My slides are visible?
Yes, ma'am. The screen, yeah, now it's visible, ma'am. Screens are minimized actually. Slides.
Sharing. Yes. So this is again an example of matplotlib. So now it's a bit complicated. We have, if you understand the concept of mesh grid, you understand the concept of KDE, जो हम उसमें करते हैं machine learning में. We have say some classes versus classes, जो हम एक वो बताते हैं confusion matrix. Say we have multi-class problem, and number of classes are classified in this class. For same kind of problem we can do it. So look at this, we have used NumPy as NP, and this is style, you can leave it for now. So what is this? There are number of predefined styles provided as matplotlib. When a style sheet is given, we use with this. So for now we can leave it. So this is mesh grid. Mesh grid में हमने जो arrangement किया है, ये जो array बनाया था, this kind of array, we started from -3 to 3 in intervals of 356. My minimum, the lower limit is -3, upper limit is 3, and in between -3 to 3, I have got 256 intervals, and that I have passed in mesh grid. This is again member function. Got it? X में तो ये हो गया, X में तो मेरा ये चला गया, और Y में मेरा ये चला गया. Almost same है, मतलब सेम ही है ऑलमोस्ट. क्या X और Y में मैंने दो ये पैरामीटर्स पास किए हैं. Here you have seen X, Y. So far what we are doing, we were creating a X, and then using the X we were creating Y. So now at the same time we are creating X and Y together. I hope it's understood. So now apart from that we have got Z. Z is in terms of X and Y. This is a complicated equation. E raised to power x minus x square minus y square is a bit complicated, but this is how we have to use machine learning. Deep learning में हम सभी करते हैं, if you remember it. And here are the levels जो हम लिखने वाले हैं. Line space np dot minimum of z का जो भी minimum आएगा, और np dot max of z जो भी आएगा, n comma 7. These are the levels. So because I'm just explaining you the visualization, so assume that these are the statements x, y, z are given to you, and you have to just show how do we create it. This is the example of contour, and here we have taken the default color. Default colors in terms of जो color हमने बनाया था blue वाला, that is default. इसके ही shade आ रहे हैं levels पे. Making some sense, or is creating confusion?
This is the 3D graph, ma'am.
Not exactly 3D, but we can say KDE, kernel density KDE graph. That actually we understand in machine learning and deep learning. जो machine learning deep learning में बड़े-बड़े से data होते हैं ना, that's how we can understand it. ये जो दूसरा example है वो है heat map का. You can see the saturation colors. जो light color है मतलब यहाँ पे कम values हैं, और जो dark color है वहाँ पे ज़्यादा values हैं. So we can assume this as a confusion matrix. Suppose मेरे पास 10 classes हैं. So now I have to check कि first class का data first class में कितना गया है और second में कितना गया है third में. That is a misclassification. जो हमारा diagonal जो data होता है बीच वाला, second class का data second class में, third class का data third class में, that we can check it. तो वो जितना ज़्यादा dense होगा इसका मतलब कि हमारा classification अच्छा हुआ है, और जितना ज़्यादा sparse होगा दूसरी classes में classify हो गया. That we can visualize from the graph itself, heat map itself. This is just an example. So here you can assume that we have got x, y, and z data, and we are just plotting it here. So ultimately, at the last, we have to plot it. This is the basic concept. And first we have to do एक figure का area हमें create करना पड़ता है, और वहाँ पे हम type of graph बनाते हैं. This is जो first graph में दिख रहा है, that is known as a contour. That is known as a contour. यहाँ पे हमने कहा फर्स्ट ग्राफ में देखिए x, y, z को हमने प्लॉट किया है. लेवल्स एज इक्वल टू लेवल्स, मेरे बाय डिफॉल्ट जो कलर आ रहे हैं वो आ जाए. अदरवाइज वी कैन डिफाइन द कलर्स हियर. फॉर सिंप्लिसिटी you make it levels is equal to levels, or you can leave it. Got it? In the second one, what we are doing, we are having the xyz data. First we have created the figure, and then we are saying ax dot im show z. z क्या था? z हमने क्रिएट किया था xy से. xy को यूज करके z को हमने प्लॉट किया है. यहाँ पे हमने कोई ग्राफ नहीं बताया, शो किया है z को. तो ये एक अलग तरह का हो गया जिसमें हम वो जो डेटा है हमारा xyz की एक बड़ी सी टेबल बन गई, क्योंकि हमारे पास 256 वैल्यूज है x में, 256 है y में, और 256 होंगी हमारी z में, और z को हमने रिप्रेजेंट किया है इन टर्म्स ऑफ x एंड y. z में हमने क्या किया है 1 minus x by 2 plus x raised to power 5 plus y raised to power 3 is just equation into x raised to power minus x square minus y square. You can assume this is an equation, and we need to plot the equation according to the values of x and y. x की वैल्यू जब -3 है तो y की वैल्यू भी -3 है. अकॉर्डिंग z की वैल्यू कुछ आएगी, राइट? x की वैल्यू y की वैल्यू पे जब चेंज हो रहा है तो z की कुछ वैल्यू है, that is being plotted here. Yes, I understand it's difficult to make sense in one class, that is for the beginners of data visualization, but just an idea, you can think over it and you can read it again if you found it interesting. I have given you the list of references, list of books later in the last slide. So look at the example of, this is an example of what? Histogram. You know what we mean by histogram? Suppose we have some values having the frequency. So this is about, suppose कि जो पहला बार है हिस्टोग्राम में, जो पहला बार है, इसका मतलब कि इतने नंबर ऑफ, ये वाला जो रेंज है, सपोज ये 0 to 10 है, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, this is a range. So people are getting marks from 0 to 10 are this. This is a frequency. 5 लोगों को आया, 10 to 20 6 लोगों को आया, 20 to 30 16 लोगों को आया, 30 to 40 36 लोगों को आया, 40 to 50 60 लोगों को आया. This is a histogram, right? So this is how we are plotting it. दिख रहा है आपको?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm reading it. If you're not visible, if it's not visible to you, I'm reading it. So again, I have imported library and NumPy हमने क्यों किया कि मेरा जो डेटा है वो एक अरे में है. हमने अरे को क्रिएट किया है रैंडमली, राइट? फिर हम उसको प्रिंट कर रहे हैं. व्हाट इज व्हाइट एज कलर? जो ये जो बार्स के बीच में जो छोटी छोटी लाइन है ना, डिफरेंशिएट कर रही है बार्स को, दैट इज इन व्हाइट कलर. यू कैन चेंज द कलर. अगर मैं इसको चेंज करूंगी तो दिखेगा. मेरा जो बिन का साइज है दैट इज 8 यूनिट्स. जो बिन का साइज है ना वो 8 यूनिट्स है, और जो लाइन विड्थ है 0.5 है, बहुत छोटी सी. हम इसको बढ़ा भी सकते हैं, बट हिस्टोग्राम में जनरली दे आर इन कंटिन्यूस होता है, एक के बाद एक चिपके हुए होते हैं. while in bar there is a distance between two bars, width between two bars, while in histograms there is nothing, and there is a limit of 0 to 8. हमारे कितने बार्स हैं? 8 है ना, इसलिए मैंने 0 to 8 लिया. और जो x टिक्स हैं वो कितनी है? 8 बार्स हैं तो 8 ही रहेंगी, from 1 to 8. सिमिलरली y लिमिट जो है मेरी वो कहां से कहां तक गई है? 0 to 56. हमने ऊपर जो फ्रीक्वेंसी है वो 56 ली है, क्योंकि 200 के बीच में है, तो इन सब का सम लगभग 200 होगा फ्रीक्वेंसी का. वाई टिक्स जो है वो अरेंजमेंट है. वाई टिक्स कहां से कहां तक किया है हमने? 0 to 0 मेरी मिनिमम लिमिट है, 56 मेरा मैक्सिमम लिमिट है, और 9 के इंटरवल में गया है, क्योंकि हमारे 8 बार्स है ना, इसलिए 9 के रेंज में गया है. इसको हमने डिवाइड कर लिया 0 to 56, एंड अल्टीमेटली वी हैव शोड इट plt.show. अगर आप plt.show करना भूल गए तो you will not see it. So be careful. It is for the visualization. So next example is of box plot. Box plot.
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, in that case, if the screen of yours is touchable type of screen, then we can maximize for the code.
It's already maximized. मेरा टच स्क्रीन है, मैं तब से यही कर रही हूँ. क्या हुआ मैंने?
Then it's okay, ma'am. Yeah. Thank
I'll
you,
share.
ma'am.
Don't worry. I'll share these all things. मैंने स्लाइड्स ही ऐसे बनाई है कि everything you can just copy it, put it in Jupyter Node और Colab और Spider, जो भी आपके पास IDE है, और इसको रन करेंगे तो सब एज इट इज होगा. मैंने खुद रन कर करके ही स्लाइड्स बनाई.
Yes,
No.
yes, ma'am.
And please keep on changing the data to show it.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm
Yes,
not
ma'am.
able to paste it on chat box. मेरा सब कुछ एक साथ चल रहा है ना, तो I'm not able to do it.
Yes,
मेरे
yes, yes, ma'am.
स्लाइड्स भी खुली हुई हैं और
Yes, ma'am. No problem.
मैं इसीलिए रीड भी कर रही हूँ. मैंने बहुत छोटे छोटे से एग्जांपल लिया है. I wanted to cover everything, so I covered line, I covered bar, I covered histogram, and this is example of box plot.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah,
No
box
problem,
plot
ma'am.
is very interesting. Being a data scientist, those who want to make their career in data science, please go through box plot. When I read it, it was like amazing. क्वेश्चन जनरली ये पूछा जाता है इंटरव्यूज में कि हाउ डू यू गेट आउटलियर्स, नॉइजी डेटा को कैसे हटाओगे. दिस इज वन ऑफ द वे. अदर वे इज डूइंग द थिंग्स नॉर्मलाइजेशन. जो डेटा है उसको नॉर्मलाइज करके हम देख लेंगे कि beyond our normal forms is going, तो हम उसको हटा सकते हैं. एंड समटाइम्स क्वेश्चन ये होता है कि डू यू ऑलवेज रिमूव आउटलियर्स, दे आर मेकिंग सेंस. So question is yes. Sometimes outliers are very useful. We can't lose them. We have to keep them. We have to store it. They are making some insight, giving some insight, right?
Yes, ma'am.
10 minutes बचे हैं. If you have question, मैं आपको जो मेरी slides तो अभी काफी हैं. This is C-bond is an important part of that. C-bond. So why do we use C-bond if we have matplotlib? The C-bond is on top of it. C-bond जो है, basically it is for statistical. Statistics बहुत use होता है data science में, और statistics को use करके जब हम graphs बनाते हैं तो C-bond का use होता है. I'll take few simple examples. Look at this. So here we have used C-bond. जैसे हमने pie plot के लिए आया था PLT. यहाँ पे हमने C-bond के लिए लेते हैं SNS. You can take anything, but this is standard. So here, this is an example of how do we use the data set that is already in a folder. जैसे मैंने GitHub से कोई data उठाया है, tips. GitHub पे है ये tips, आप करके ढूंढेंगे तो आपको मिल जाएगा. And उस data set को पहले मैंने load किया है. So tips within the quotes is a data set name. And tips outside that is my variable. I hope it's visible. दिख रहा है क्या आपको? So this is variable. You can take anything T1, T2, T3, but this tips is that is there in the dataset. Dataset का नाम ही है. जैसे you must have heard the name Iris dataset. Flowers का जो है ना. ऐसे tips का dataset. Tip in the restaurant. This tip is a tip we give in the restaurants. So here we are trying to find the relationship between a total bill. Total bill जितना आता है तो लोग कितना tip देते हैं. This is about that. So again, what I'm doing, this SNS जो अपना C-bond है, basically this is for the cat plot. Cat plot stands for category plot. So far we have seen the examples of bar, we have seen the example of pie, line. Now what if we have millions of data? That is to be in a different classes. एक दो classes का data है. Look at the example. So here we have got tip. Total bill versus tip when time is lunch. When time is lunch. And when time is dinner, what is the projection of data? हम data कैसे लेते हैं? So this is what is this? SNS.replot, REL plot. Data का नाम जो है वो tips है, और दो उसमें x और y जो है वो total bill और tip है, और ये जो है कॉलम, टाइम एक कॉलम का नाम है. ये सारा डेटा इसी फॉर्मेट में है. डेटा का जो नाम एक एट्रीब्यूट का नाम है कॉलम, और उसमें हमने लिया टाइम. टाइम में दो वैरायटी है, लंच एंड डिनर. दो प्लॉट बनेंगे. अगर एक और होता हमारे पास से ब्रेकफास्ट, तो 3 ग्राफ बन जाते. तो हम विजुअलाइज कर पाते हैं कि हमारा जो, देखिए यहाँ पे आप डिनर में देखिए एक ब्लू डॉट जो है वो कितना ऊपर चला गया. मतलब कुछ लोग ऐसे आएंगे कि इस तरह का टिप भी दे सकते हैं, वो इतना हाई, राइट. और कुछ जो आएंगे वो बिल्कुल नीचे प्लॉट. So this is how our data is plotted, projected, मतलब scattered, पूरा फैला हुआ है पूरी अच्छी तरह से. तो हम क्या कर सकते हैं कि जो हमारा है कॉलम टाइम and this hue is nothing but a intensity of colors. हमने यहाँ पे दो कलर्स चूज किए हैं, दो कलर चूज किए हैं. स्टाइल इज इक्वल टू स्मोकर, दिस इज स्टैंडर्ड, एंड साइज इज इक्वल टू, हमने कोई मेंशन नहीं किया, बाय डिफॉल्ट जो भी साइजेस हैं वो ले लीजिए. इट्स लाइक दैट, एंड वी कैन स्पेसिफाई द साइज. गॉट इट? यहाँ पे हमने सब कुछ लिखा है. एक सेकंड. एवरीथिंग इज रिटन ओवर हियर एट द लेफ्ट साइड.
Madam, this HUE and style actually is telling.
Is not here? I'm coming back to this. Hue is a smoker. Smoker मतलब hue क्या है, वो जो इसका शेप होता है ना, मतलब smoker is nothing but a स्टाइल. हमने जो हमारा जो डेटा है उसमें एक स्मोकर है, मतलब ये जो स्मोकर है और ये टिप से रिलेटेड है, दे स्मोक एज वेल, राइट. हमने स्टाइल जो है, जो स्टार बनाया है या छोटा, आपने देखा कहीं पे जो गोला है वो छोटा है, कहीं पे बड़ा है.
यस मैम.
इसका मतलब कि इन्होंने इतना टप दिया है, इतने नंबर ऑफ लोगों ने इस टोटल बिल पे, ये जो लोग हैं इन्होंने टिप दिया है. यहाँ देखिए ऊपर, यहाँ पे दिख रहा है, मेरा पॉइंटर दिख रहा है आपको.
यस
स्मोकर,
मैम.
स्मोकर दे आर यस, एंड स्मोकर दोज नो. तो दो तरह की क्लासेस हो गई हमारे पास. वी आर डिफरेंशिएटिंग दोज हु आर स्मोकिंग एंड गिविंग टिप, and those who are non-smokers and giving tip. This is kind of classification. And this size is nothing but, let's come, it's a hue. It's a hue. Hue का मतलब intensity of color. Sizes बढ़ता जा रहा है इनका. Size बढ़ता जा रहा है और color से intense होता जा रहा है. तो सारी चीजें हम एक साथ दिखा रहे हैं. हमको हम दिखा रहे हैं कि at what time we are doing our using the data, and we are classifying our the clients on the basis of smoking. हम यहाँ पे क्लासिफिकेशन भी चल रहा है, और क्लासिफिकेशन को फिर हम दिखा रहे हैं कि व्हाट इज द वैल्यू. जैसे जैसे वैल्यू बढ़ेगी उसका जो कलर है वो इंटेंस होता जाएगा और साइज भी बड़ा होता जाएगा. क्योंकि मैंने क्या किया, छोटे छोटे गोले लिए हैं, तो अगर मैं सेम साइज के गोले बनाऊंगी या उनकी इंटेंसिटी दिखाऊंगी, देयर विल बी नो डिफरेंस. तो इनका साइज हमने बढ़ाते जा रहे हैं, सेम कलर में साइज बढ़ाते जा रहे हैं. तो इससे समझ में आ रहा है कि ये लोग ज्यादा हैं. जो 6 है मतलब बड़ा गोला जो है, इसका मतलब सच काइंड ऑफ, ये इतने लोग हैं जो कि स्मोकर है और इतनी टिप दे रहे हैं. गेटिंग? सपोज कि ये वाला मेरा पॉइंटर दिख रहा है आपको, ये वाला पॉइंटर. हाँ, तो इसका मतलब कि लगभग 5 या 6 है. तो इतने लोग हैं जिनका बिल लगभग 40 आता है. इतने लोग, ये जो टिप है इन्होंने इतना टिप दिया है.
Madam, what in the style we need to write for, like, what other thing can we write in the style? Only the
कॉलम
like
का नाम, कॉलम का नाम, जो कॉलम है ना ऊपर, वहां से वैल्यू उठाएंगे ना अपन वो.
and in the size we can write any number or
एनी नंबर एज वेल. यस, हम साइज बढ़ाते जाएंगे. हमने बाय डिफॉल्ट यहाँ पे साइज लिया है, दिस इज बाय डिफॉल्ट.
okay.
सो हमने जो स्टाइल ली है ना, वो हमने ह्यू लिया है, मतलब स्मोकर लिया है. उस डेटा में है. अगर आप टिप खोल के देखेंगे, दैट इज अ स्टैंडर्ड. आप टिप्स खोल के देखिएगा, गिटहब पे है डेटा सेट, तो आप यू विल अंडरस्टैंड कि व्हाट आर द एट्रीब्यूट्स. सो नॉट ओनली टिप्स, वहां पे और भी सारा डेटा है, यू कैन जस्ट डाउनलोड इट. तो अगर आप सीबॉन की साइट खोलेंगे ना, ऑफिशियल साइट सीबॉन की, दे हैव गिवन ऑलरेडी द डेटा सेट. वहां पे लिंक दिए हुए हैं. टिप्स का डेटा सेट भी वहीं से उठाया मैंने. सो जब हम इसको लोड करेंगे तो दे शुड बी इन द सेम फोल्डर, अदरवाइज वी हैव टू स्पेसिफाई द पाथ कि कहाँ पे पड़ा है. तो व्हाट आई एम टेकिंग, आई एम डूइंग, आई एम पुटिंग एवरीथिंग इन द सेम फोल्डर वेयर आई एम वर्किंग. जहाँ पे आपका ये पड़ा हुआ है, आपकी जितनी भी आप जुपिटर नोटबुक की स्क्रिप्ट्स बना रहे हैं पाइथन की, जिस फोल्डर में आप रख रहे हैं उसी फोल्डर में ही है. जहां से आप एक्सेस कर रहे हैं इनको फोल्डर्स को, वहीं पे आपका डेटा सेट है. इज इट ओके? I'll take one more example, still I have time. You must have gone through these things in this one classification. ये फिर से हमने एक डेटा सेट उठाया, FMRI. It is already there on Seabon site. So basically what we are doing, हमने डेटा सेट का नाम रखा FMRI. काइंड क्या है हमारा, लाइन टाइप है. और X and Y हमने कहाँ से उठाया, ये डेटा सेट में FMRI में पड़ा है. टाइम पॉइंट, सिग्नल. और ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ रीजन कॉलम वी आर स्पेसिफाइंग. एक्स एक्सिस में गया हमारा टाइम पॉइंट, वाई एक्सिस में सिग्नल, और हम प्लॉट क्या कर रहे हैं, रीजन को प्लॉट कर रहे हैं. स्टाइल और ह्यू आपने वहां पे भी देखा, स्मोकर स्मोकर था, यहाँ पे भी है। यहाँ पे हमने साइज नहीं दिया क्योंकि साइज यहाँ चलेगा ही नहीं, यहाँ पे साइज की जरूरत नहीं है ना, हम लाइन वो ले रहे हैं, लाइन ग्राफ है, बाय डिफॉल्ट इज अ लाइन ग्राफ। यू कैन जस्ट कॉपी इट, जो मैं चैट बॉक्स इस पे लिख दूंगी आपके स्लाइड पे, आप कॉपी करके, पर मेक श्योर कि आपने एफएमआरआई लोड कर लिया है। और अगर आपके पास खुद का कोई क्लासिफिकेशन का डेटा है, मशीन लर्निंग से क्रिएट हुआ है क्लासिफिकेशन डेटा, दैट यू कैन यूज इट। और एवरीथिंग इज रिटन, ऊपर हमने रीजन लिखा है, रीजन जो हमारा जिसपे ग्राफ प्लॉट हो रहा है। ये एक्चुअली ये हम जब डेटा विजुअलाइजेशन का कोर्स जब पढ़ाते हैं ना, इट कम्स एट द एंड, but this is the first class and I have to just show. So just for getting the ideas what you can do in Seaborn and Matplot right now, those who are beginner, बस उनके लिए टेक अवे है कि this is possible. अभी आप बहुत सारी चीजें आपको अंडरस्टैंड you will not be getting, but we can do it. Similarly you can look at this data. जब हमारे पास millions of dots होते हैं ना, how do we categorize? This is again a question of tips data set. अब उसी चीज को हमने इस तरह से यहाँ पे प्रेजेंट किया, दैट्स आल्सो पॉसिबल. ऑल दीज कोड इज अवेलेबल ऑन सीबॉर्न. स्टैंडर्ड सीबॉर्न को समझाने के लिए उन्होंने यही वाला कोड यूज किया है, दैट आई हैव रन एक्सिक्यूटेड माय ओन एंड पुट इट हियर. इसी तरह से दिस इज आल्सो पॉसिबल, मल्टीवेरिएट डेटा सेट्स, दिस इज आल्सो पॉसिबल, KDE. और ये सिर्फ आप कोड में एक जगह चेंज करते हैं and everything can be displayed on the dashboard. Dashboard is another way of presenting the data in terms of visualization, where we don't have only a single visual, we can have multiple images on one figure. Figure के अंदर बहुत सारी figures. So far what we are creating a figure and then we are plotting it. Now what if we are creating a single figure and within the figure we have multiple visuals. So this is also possible. This is also possible. Time is over almost. मैंने सब लिखा, हाँ, these are the books. In the MTech Data Science, this is a full course. It takes around 40 lectures to complete. Data visualization, a successful design process by Andy. Storytelling data, data visualization guide for business professionals. कोले की बुक है और ये सॉफ्ट कॉपी है इसकी अवेलेबल. Information dashboard design, displaying data for at a glance monitoring. जिसने मैंने इनका कोट भी लिखा है इस बुक में से उठा के शुरू में, if you remember it. These are the books and these are the links I have read. This is interesting. Thank you. If you have any questions, you can contact Dr. Priyanka Mishra or me directly. It's up to you.
So
Thank you.
thank you very much, ma'am. It was been a very nice session, very knowledgeable session, and you gave so deep insights regarding about the codes of Python. And in the first 1 hour, you discussed the theory concept so nicely that it has been so easy to grasp what basically we are talking about in data visualization. So I think that Madam has given us so vast knowledge of how do we can initiate if we are going to pursue for our research or we are already been struck anywhere. So on behalf of the participants, I really like to thank you, ma'am, for giving your precious time to us and sharing your knowledge with us. Thank you for accepting our invitation. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Priyanka and others who are listening to me. and thank you for being patient.
Yeah,
I understand it's difficult to grasp all these things in one lecture, but I wanted to have the idea. Before I studied this subject, I was not knowing many things, because 40 lectures में you keep on repeating some of the overlap things, and जब हम hands on करते हैं ना, it gives very insightful things.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
very much.
Yeah. Thank you once
Because
again, ma'am.
most of you are from data science perspective, doing this course from data science, so that's why I have opted this topic. Thank you.
That's so kind of you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you, ma'am.
Priyanka, thank you
Yes.
very much. I'm leaving. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for coming. So, dear participants, we have a half an hour break from 11:30 to 12 o'clock, as it has already been given in the schedule. And I really request some of the participants to interact with the experts. In that way, they